Yeah, so bringing it on back, reeling it on back, come rewind, right? So basically, to continue where I left off, basically you run into situations, where cats are, whispering and, they feel away, because they generally are intimidated by you. And they can't do what you do. You gotta understand, for me, as somebody that has put the time in, has put the effort, and has put the work in, I'm coming from a different place. And not only that, I can honestly say I'm self-made. Everybody else had to have a crew, or somebody put them on, or they had to kiss somebody's booty, to gain acceptance. That was never me. Anybody that will tell you that knows me will tell you that personally, even if they don't like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't the, hey dude, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of cats do that because that's just the best they can do. And I was never that guy. I always stood on 10. You like me or you don't. Don't make me no never mind, because I'm gonna be me regardless, so that's that. And you have to, but I was one of those guys that was able to I was always the plug. Let's just go ahead and say what it is. I was the Quincy of the group in terms of getting cats in the Hollywood Hills, Malibu. I had the plug to those gigs. They weren't doing that before they met me. You know what I'm saying? And they could feel a way about it, but that's the truth. I was the one with all the contacts that was able to do A, B, and C and move a certain way. So for me, as a DJ, I always prided myself in terms of my work and my presentation. See, a lot of people have a misconception that you have to, it's all about the party and, you get drink tickets and being cool and all that. Well, cool is something that, is something you're born with. Okay, that's genetics. If it's not in your genetics, it's not you. I don't care how many people you hang out with. Real recognize real, as I stated before. And for me, I was always able to run with the dogs, the top dogs. Go back and look at the flyers, you know what I'm saying? Like, and who I jammed with, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of them are my personal friends. So but I never had to use somebody else's name to get on some, oh yeah, I know. I remember one time I went to this venue, and this was I think in Echo Park or Silver Lake or something to that effect. But I was actually, now what's funny is that same night, because again, anybody would tell you, I hustle. I don't know about other people, but that's just in my DNA. So for me, I'm playing. So before my set goes on, because I'm playing down the street. He doesn't know that at the more bigger venues, so he don't know I'm prime time at a very well respected event and a venue at that. So I passed by this little spot down the street, and dude, I already sized him up in terms of his character, because he started name dropping. This was like the venue manager or whatever, and he's do you know such and such, such, such? Do you know this person? I hit him with the ask them, do they know me? I do you one better. I'm that dude. I don't sit up in here and be on some, oh, I know this person, I know that person. Ask them if they know me. I'm that ninja. So I put my work in, so I don't have to name drop. They know what it is, so, and so that was my way of shooting back at him, like, look, I don't name drop. You might not know me. That means you're a square if you don't know me, because the real ones are going to know who the real ones are. If you don't know who the real ones are, you're a square from Delaware, and apparently you ain't from here. So it was like I knew he wasn't from, uh, you know, this, the area or whatever. But I said, look, I know the people in your area too, and they know me. Ask them about me. Oh, we ain't gonna do that. Oh, do you know such and such? Because it was almost like as if to say, well, if you know them, you're legitimate or something like that. It's like, homie, I was legitimate before I knew them dudes. That's how we got cool. Better yet, who are you? So my ego kicked in. It was just like, yeah, dude, you corny. You know what I'm saying? But so I knew it wasn't gonna go nowhere. Again, for me, and he didn't know my history. He didn't know I was playing down the street at his competition. Okay, at a very big, larger venue. So, and what's ironic, it was a Saturday night, and the little DJ they had playing there was playing some little, booty bop. He was trying to do something, but he didn't know how to keep the crowd. He didn't know how to bring the crowd. He couldn't. It was like I saw maybe like 3 or 4 people. After my set, I only saw one person sitting in that bar. And I was like, I gave him my card or whatever, but it was like, homie, your bar gonna be closed if you don't have real DJs like me. But I ain't gonna go out of my way to prove it. I'm gonna let your work prove. I'm gonna let your work and your efforts prove how talented you are with your one person in the bar. Yeah, I'm petty. So, needless to say, I never heard from that guy again. and that's cool. That comes with the business. For me, it's always been a thing of you can't just be a DJ. I've always been a negotiator. I was always the plug. Despite how anybody feel or their little feelings, I was your plug at the end of the day. You wasn't getting money before you knew me. You probably got some little $50 gigs here and there. Don't get me started. So, and after me, what have you been doing? So, because people, you split up with people and they try to use what you did, and it's like, look, first of all, those are my people you using, and you ain't doing it right. You know what I'm saying? So I was always the factor in situation, and I don't like saying that because it's corny, but it's true. Like, what have they done since then? And my thing is, it's all about performance, not lip service. But now we're in a time where it's just like it's a lot of facades. People trying to be something that they're not, and I can see right through it. As soon as I hit the door, I'm gonna tell you one thing: any party that I show up, I'm gonna know somebody there. You know what they're gonna say? What time you getting on? What time you getting on? The streets don't have to lie. Your tastemakers, your little tastemakers, and they gotta lie to kick it. I just pull up and show up. But for me, it was always a thing of like, hey, show and prove. So I never had no problem doing that, whether I was here, there, or yonder. They knew who I was at the end of the day. And I think right now we're at a point where I've seen some really good talent. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of young cats are really doing it and paying their dues. But I could tell they're going through their rough edges. But that's normal. They're gonna see their flaws in time. You know what I'm saying? But you got to allow them to develop. And it's gonna take some time. But if you have potential, you're gonna go far. And one thing I can say is to never try to be something that you're not. Don't try to follow the latest trends. I remember one night, a dear friend of mine came through one night, and she was just like, "Why are you playing this in Hollywood at that?" I said, "Look at my floor, packed. Don't you ever question my judgment. And I'm playing Eddie Kendricks, Going Up in Smoke. Don't you ever judge me, or don't ever try to critique what I'm doing when I'm doing it damn good. Look at my floor, baby." none of these Hollywood cats could do what I do, and they know it. They get shook every time I come around. Hey, bro, ooh. It's like, yeah, homie, I see you. I see what you're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? So, and I actually earned my respect because it was like certain venues, they had the whole, it was like when I played Hollywood, especially in its prime, like Hollywood is like, oh God, like now it's like the land of the lost. When I was out there in Hollywood, cats, it was so funny because, I think I mentioned this in another post. This one venue owner was like, yeah, I don't think he's ready for Hollywood. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm thinking, no, I don't think Hollywood is ready for me. So I kind of had to get grandfathered into that situation in terms of playing Hollywood. Anyhow, word got around about what I do and who I am. And it was a time of performance, which is always my favorite part. I don't like to talk. And I did what I was supposed to do. And I was given a residency, and we negotiated, whatever. So the venue that I was playing, I got the residency, but the other venues kind of had the top 40 R&B thing happening. Great thing, great, genres. I played those events before, but I always did it my way. And you'd always have the popping bottles crowd, and the models and the bottles. We had that crowd next door, and I'm over here playing James Brown and Eddie Kendricks and A Tribe Called Quest. And my room is packed too, homie. So, but again, it was a thing of doing it my way. And that's how I've always conducted myself in everything that I do. I never let anybody dictate. Here's I got another one for you. It was this one promoter. We're cool. You know what I'm saying? That's my homie. They invited me to come play at a night, and they wanted like mainly New Jack or whatever. At the time, I figured it out. I didn't know that was like their thing. I was, because when I do guest sets, I know what type of vibe to, play, or how I feel at the moment, because I don't let the room dictate what I do, because I am who I am. And I make the rules. My house. Even though I'm a guest, it's my house. So fast forward, they're expecting, wouldn't be a thing without a New Jack swing. Get that? They expecting all that, and I'm like, man, I could do that, but all the other 2 other million guests you've had done that. I don't feel like doing that, and I won't do that. We're gonna get into some house tonight. I'm gonna make people dance. That's my job. And that's what happened. He tried to, give me pushback or whatever, but he couldn't argue with the floor. Never argue with the floor, So, ironically, he plays house now. Now, what inspired him? I love it. That's my guy, regardless. But you have to be willing to take risk, and read the room and so forth. Now, I do want to say this in terms of where you're at, in terms as a DJ, the road you're going, you're gonna run into. Let's put it this way: you're not gonna run with the people you started with, or you thought you were cool with. You're gonna meet cooler people down the way that actually want to invest in your career and are very supportive of your career, as opposed to using you or leeching off of you. I had to learn the difference between people that I know versus people that are my friends. It's a huge difference. My friends, I've never had an argument. We never had a disagreement or conversation of disrespect. I never heard a tone of disrespect. Versus the people that were leeching off of me, they were feeling away. and I had to cut that off, you know. So, because I as a man, forget being a DJ, I as a man, there's certain things I'm not going to tolerate. I don't care who it is, you know. So, where we're at now, I'm seeing a thing where technology is making people lazy. You got people, what I love about the TikTok culture, it's actually revising great songs that people didn't know, and they're just discovering, like, oh my goodness, Cheryl Lynn Encore. It's like, yeah, it was a hit then, it's a hit now. You know, so, but also dig deep and look into other sounds and grooves also. Be willing to take chances. Also, don't be the DJ that's stuck in a groove, if you will. Don't be the DJ that's like, okay, read the room. Don't be you coming in playing LTD, holding on. I'm like, oh, I love holding on. First of all, that's my joint. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, this ain't the party for that. I might sneak that in a little bit later on, you know, but read the room. If you're, you know, and I've seen cats that would try to, quote unquote, oh, I'm going to play a deep funk set. Well, first of all, what is deep funk? I just know good music. You know, first of all, you're categorizing music. And it's like, do you even know who these people are that you're playing? And do you know the music that you're playing and the vibe? You know, I've seen people jump trends. You know, 1 minute they playing backpack, next minute they playing funk boogie, next minute, and it's like, homie, which one is it? And we all evolve. Don't get it twisted. But, you know, I was playing Erotic City when I was in middle school. You know what I'm saying? But play your sound. You know, very few people are able to master all the styles. If you're a hip hop DJ, be a damn good hip hop DJ. If you're a house DJ, be a damn good house DJ. If you're a reggae DJ, be a damn good reggae DJ. If you're a boogie funk DJ, be a damn good funk boogie DJ. And ironically, I mastered all of those styles and I played all of those parties, because nowadays they call it open format. It's like, no, it's called being a good DJ that's well versed. Okay, and have a broad ear, but also be genuine in your approach, because people are going to tell the difference of whether you're faking the funk or you actually have real talent. Okay, keep talent at the forefront and play what's true to you. That's it, because I could talk all day about this DJ thing. Later, y'all. DJAski.com.